Today is October 15th, 2021. This is episode 169 of Maelstrom Radio. Maelstrom Radio. With your hosts, Gladys and Shitter. And welcome everybody to Maelstrom Radio. My name is Peter. With me normally is my good friend and co-host Quinton, but he's out on assignment, so I took two of my other friends to make up for him. With me, the lore baron himself, Seyrr Tomono of Phoenix Down Radio. Seyrr, welcome to back to Maelstrom Radio.
Hiya. Yeah, I guess welcome back, though it's been long enough that I don't even remember that first time. It is weird that we have been doing this for this long.
And we don't
Not
get
bad,
paid.
just weird.
we don't get paid for it. No one pays us. And with us, it creators himself and friend, AnonyMoose.
How's it going?
Hey. Welcome to the show. We're over 5 years here, and Moose, I think you were on in episode 50 something, 54. I think you were on.
I think it was one in the 70s too, maybe.
Possibly.
It was. It was a while ago.
Yeah. Chili, thank you for the 69 bits. So
I was wondering
Nice.
if we
Also a
should
good
make it
start.
jump off to the 169.
Yeah. Well, possible, probably. And Sarah, I think we did something closer to like post Heaven's Reward, I think, with Phoenix Down at some point. So
Oh my god. That's like,
So-
okay, what happened in the second Astral Era level?
yeah. So it's been a minute. So welcome both to the show. Of course, we always talk about what we've been up to this last week. So Quinton, of course, away is on assignment. He's out on vacation and he's enjoying himself as he should. His mom's in town, so he's spending time with her.
Aw.
And yeah, so Maelstrom Radio has been posting 20 jobs and 20 frogs. So over on our Twitter page, if you've been following our frog thread, we found 20 frogs to represent the 20 jobs of Final Fantasy XIV. There's a frog for every job, and they are not digital frogs. They are real frogs that somehow in some shape represent a job in Final Fantasy XIV. So please go enjoy that. And
Okay, that Red Mage one is a little unsettling, but in a cool way.
yeah, it's nice. I like Black Mage Frog. It's got a hat. So,
Like, how did that even happen?
I love it so much. Summoner Frog is great. Oh, they're all great. They're all great. Machine. Oh, I can't
Frog with a hat. That's just a Pirogo, isn't it?
wait. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Listen, I'm a huge fan of those, and
They're so, like, secretly sad.
they are. I love them so much.
I ruined Pirogo for myself by putting the Pirogo hat on the unicycle frog, like, oh shit, what up? And now I can't unsee it. Those are just Pirogo to me now.
Can we write that as Urianje's voice? How do we? Can we get that to how do we? All right, we'll work on that meme later.
Yeah.
And also, I'm this much closer to saving the queen in Zadnor and Boscia. I think I'm 3 levels away from finishing the story. Then I'll run the Del Riata and I'll see the complete story and I'll have it. And so far, it's actually pretty great. The story's really nice. There's some great tidbits in there. I don't know if any of it will play a role coming to Endwalker, but even if it's its own little thing, it's a good thing. So
That's gone in so many weird and unexpected directions.
so far, yes, I agree completely. I learned a lot about White Orsite, so, and its weird capabilities. So, also apparently, swords can mind control people, and also,
I mean, we knew that already. Odin.
Yeah, it's true. But many swords. More powerful version of Odin.
So the one that Eureka made.
Yeah.
All right. Keep a running tally. How many times can I get Moose to cringe by bringing up Eureka?
Well,
Oh, his eyes have
one.
I don't have a...
Excellent.
Oh, let's see. Do I have a jingle on here? Maybe we can just jingle every time it happens.
Oh.
Welcome to Jingle Cast.
Yeah, I do. Death of me.
We're talking Endwalker speculation, so it's time to bring up Eureka
I
frequently.
do have a... Oh. I mean... and Chili says, I'm working on a fourth character to do Eureka, so...
We already know that Chili does not take care of himself.
That's true. That's also true. And I played a spoopy game. Speaking of Chili, I played Back 4 Blood with Chili yesterday, and if I had to do a quick review on the first few levels, the game isn't as polished as Left 4 Dead 1 or 2. Out of 5, I'd rate it a 3.6. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's just kind of go play Left 4 Dead 1 or 2. I think they're better. Just being honest, the AI for the bots suck, and it's if you had 4 friends, it's probably a great experience. But with 2 friends and 2 bots, not good. So the bots are just sit there and die, and it's in a game where it's like all 4 players must survive, and then the bots are just like, help, I'm dying. I'm like, well, thank you, bot, thanks. So, well, with that, what'd you guys do this week? What'd you Final Fantasy or other?
I feel a little bad, even though it's silly when I hear you talk about doing Sadnor, because I still haven't set foot in there once. Ooh. I did Delibram Regine a bunch, and then I keep feeling like, okay, this is going to be a big commitment. I should do it when I have time to, and then I never have the time or energy, and that may just be a totally self-defeating way of thinking about it.
Can I say that if you don't worry about the weapon part of it and just do the leveling through the zone, it's very quick. It goes very fast.
Yeah, so it's even quicker than the Southern Front.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, Sadnor is very fast.
Much.
So, all right. I can worry about the weapon later then.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say if you just want to experience the story and get the lore from there, absolutely just worry about that. You can do the weapon at any point. So
yeah. I've picked up a lot of it through osmosis, but it would probably be good to watch it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've been partly non-gaming stuff. The library I work at has opened some full-time positions, so I just got the notification that I'll be interviewing for full-time next week.
Awesome.
Libraries are awesome.
Juju.
Yes. And I've been finally playing through all of the different things I grabbed from Ludonarracon, which is a game online convention exploring the intersection of games and storytelling that runs in April, so little behind on it here.
Fair.
Yeah. No, I was like, oh my gosh, this one looks good, and this one, and this one. And I will play all of these in my no time.
With just a little over a month left for Endwalker, I will play that with 2022 is going to look real good for those games, huh?
I at least have tried out enough of them to be like, okay, I can see what's interesting about this, and I know when I want to go back to it when there's like something cool or interesting going on. But yeah, another eyes bigger than stomach kind of thing.
Yeah, I get it. And Moose, any secret projects we shouldn't know about?
Like when you said, what did you guys do this week? I was like, great, I'm gonna have to just like whine about work because I don't remember anything else I did this week.
You can do that.
For a second, I was like, I don't even think I logged into 14, but I did, and I got I did one thing in 14 this week. I got Menenius 2, the note that never drops. So I'm finally done with all the damn Zadnor field notes.
Nice.
Got my motorbike that I look ridiculous on, but 12's like my favorite game, so that bike is amazing.
The sizing for Lalafell is just ridiculous. I love it.
It's got to reach the handles.
Yep. Other than that, I mean, I feel bad admitting like I'm working on stuff that's not Final Fantasy, but I've been like playing a lot of Fatal Frame recently and kind of going through and getting used to that again because Maiden of Blackwater is coming out.
Yep.
Ooh.
Coming
it's
home.
Not a pachinko machine.
Yep. No, it's not.
Nope. They did make one though, but this one's not.
Oh.
I
should do another stream of those at some point. That was really cool.
I I sadly will always hold out hope that there will be a silent. I know there won't. Like they're my brain is like you're just there's like a little piece of me that's like the little monkey brain in me that's like maybe there will be a Silent Hill, even if it's just like a remake or not a remake but a remaster of the original. I will take that,
like,
or two. I'll take two, honestly.
I know as much about Silent Hill as I do about Final Fantasy, and it kills me inside to know that, like, even if we could have another one, like, the people who were willing to read into what, like, Hiroyuki Iwaku wrote and understand it how he understood it and actually, like, write things that rhyme well with 2 and 3, there's almost no chance. Like, they just didn't ever bother tapping into his work again in the same way. So, like, what are the chances we're going to get another game? Maybe not zero. It's a good time for it. It's a good year for it. Konami's, like, just had their face rubbed in Resident Evil 2, or, like, by Capcom. So they're probably considering it. It's on zero, but
it's kind of the same deal with Suikoden, which is a Konami property I always want to see make a resurgence. But, like, I know a lot of the original story writers for it have actually passed away. That's why there apparently was such a big shift in the middle of 4, was it? So who knows what, if anything, we'll ever get. Oh, God, is there Suikoden Pachinko? I want to look, but I also don't want to know.
I'm going to find out.
Chili says, is it a Chinese company making Metal Gear Solid 3 remake? I have no idea. Huh. I know there's probably a new Metal Gear Solid Pachinko machines.
Man, Konami Pachinko machines, they're like the low-hanging fruit, and we go for them every time.
Yeah, much like Eureka. And
what kind of loves dog ass shit is this? I'm gonna be in public. I'm gonna hear someone ring the bell at the deli, and I'm just gonna be like, "Oh, freaking Osmo Recons."
It's fine. All right. Well, I'm on
Google right now. I was on episode 74. Gaius lives.
Yeah. Hashtag Gaius lives.
Nice.
I love it. We really let you go all out for Gaius lives. We let you really, I think, believe, like, just take the stage and sell it. And we were all bored. We were like, at the end of it, we were like,
it didn't happen like I thought it would on any level. Like, I had all these great master conspiracy theories of, like, what it meant and how it could happen, and then he just showed up in the desert like, hey, I've been killing Asians.
Yeah, no problem.
It's like, you were right, but at what cost?
I don't know. Well, I'll tell you in Endwalker. Like, I think Werelit was really timed because it was a good story, but it was just like, he shows up, he's like, hey, I'm going to go kill Asians right after I go to this loving Gundam homage full of family drama. And like, I think that part was like oddly timed, but I still liked it.
I mean, would it be even feasible to consider that he wouldn't be involved in the... He has to be involved, right?
Well, originally they were like, yeah, he's going to be kind of the Estinian to our Garlemald. Like, he's going to show us around Garlemald. And then later they were like, oh yeah, he's not going to be like a main character or anything. So I don't know what to expect.
That's so weird.
Maybe that was back when they were still planning for like the 8th Umbral timeline. And now that we're like they decided we're going to go to the destroyed city instead of the real city. So maybe he's just not as big a part now.
I mean, unless you think it's gonna be like they're going for a Spider-Man No Way Home, like there is no Tobey Maguire, and they're like that, like they don't exist, like they're not in the movie. And then like played you.
Oh yeah, no, he's not gonna be a like big part in Endwalker, and then like middle of the expansion he's crowned emperor again.
Might be.
Oh God. You laugh, you think about it a little bit,
and it kind of makes sense. Hashtag Gaius rules. I
just wanted him to come back and fix his character arc, and everyone's like, no, he's obviously dead. Give it up, Moose. This is stupid. He's back. And I'm like, hey, cool, he's back. Let's fix his character arc. But everyone's like cheering at the boulder as it rolls down the other side of the hill, like, boulder for emperor. I'm like,
Hey, at least he didn't bang Lydia now.
Not a Hori boulder. The boulder I've been pushing up a hill for 6 years.
Oh. Greek mythology references. That's more of an Allegan thing, though. You'd want, like, Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
All right, well, let's give a little direction this episode. We're already jumping into like jokes and lore jokes, but there is a little bit of news. I don't know if anybody heard it here, but Wednesday, October 13th, the embargo on information from the Endwalker Media Tour has been lifted. So there is tons of interviews with the OGP, tons of information about all the jobs and how they play or sort of play, because there's people that got their hands on them. They may not be experts at the job. So and Sage, a lot of people were confused. Reaper, a lot of people had fun. So go out there. There will be a few videos on the Maelstrom Radio YouTube. So there's going to be one where I'm taking Chili's little tour around town and making commentary on it. And I'm sure there's a Dark Knight video that I will talk about, because people are pooping on it, and I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad. So, like,
what did we actually learn? I haven't even been through it yet. It was gonna be like a weekend project.
So there's no lore information. Well, there is if you watch the dungeon. I don't think you've watched the dungeon yet, based on that. So I won't.
We're like 2 weeks away from finding out. I don't care about predictions anymore. We're gonna find out like right away.
I got enough other stuff to do.
Yeah, so
it's
I don't.
Fine. We'll know.
I will say I will not spoil anything too much here. Like I don't want, like, especially if people want to like be surprised about the dungeons and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna say anything about the dungeons, but short of, I don't know the boss. I'm definitely not naming bosses, but the second dungeon is called the Tower of Zot, which I will bring up a question later about that with you both, and because I have a theory, and so it was a theory I had before I saw the media tour stuff. So it was, so I'd just like to discuss it with you both. And
what's the over under on the quest being called Kneel Before Zot?
Oh, pretty good. Yeah. And if I hope there is an achievement called Drop It Like It's Zot, because if I feel like they really need to double down on it, so but that's just me. So there's a lot of just videos of people going around and showing the zones in various different lengths. Some people really got into Thavnir and showing that around. Garlemald was shown off a little bit. What other zones? Not the moon. They didn't show the moon off. Old Shoreland was shown off, and it's gorgeous. It's truly beautiful. Very much, I was like, ooh, everything there is pretty. Thavnir, Garlemald, Old Shoreland, and Dungeon. Chili knows Chili was there. So.
Yeah. I'll mention that thinking about it and going over the zones, I'm a little disappointed that we don't get to explore more of Ilsabard. It looks like we're going for let's penetrate straight through, cut off the head of the beast. And of course, once we do it, the dungeon will collapse and everyone will be freed from stuff and there will be no political turmoil. They're not going to do that.
That drove me nuts too, because that's like, the big thing I was excited for was to fight through Ilsabard and see kind of the ruined nations that Garlemald took over. So like you would see the ruins of what came before them put back together with Darksteel and Sermet, and you would get some hints as to what they were without Garlemald, and I really wanted to see kind of what the cities of Garlemald were without them. And now I'm not going to get any of that, and it feels like not being allowed to go to Alamigo all over again.
I was about to say it feels like Alamigo possibly on a different scale, just see like, okay, here's this, you can see the remnants of it. They've been under Garlean control for longer, so more of that past has been wiped away.
Mm-hmm.
But just these little vestiges, again, encased in those things. I was really looking forward for that as well. Maybe also like some more like army tactical battle type things. That would have been cool.
Yeah. It seemed that more of the content creators that were asked to go were way focused on like, the AF gear set. And of course, like they're producing content for their channels. And so people are going to look at like the character models, the bunny boys, the emotes, the gear sets,
iconic costumes.
Yeah.
The glamour is a true end game.
It
We
really
are playing
is.
with really neat little paper dolls that we dress up and send them on adventures and do some amount of wish fulfillment fantasy with it.
And Chile even went as far as said that they even did a really good job about making sure not to give out any lore anywhere. Like there was even a Fate that had Japanese text, and they removed it, like they scrubbed it from videos and stuff like that people did. So they really wanted to double down on on making sure that nobody could glean anything lore wise from those videos. So the only thing I think lore wise is the dungeon, but even then they said there was way too much story in the first dungeon, so they gave the second dungeon. So, but
I mean, with that one, it seems like more of the connection is the FF4 stuff.
Yeah, of course. Chili says anything that had Japanese text was not allowed to be put in video, and the cutscene in the dungeon was removed. So they did a pretty good job of doing that. So. Speaking of Endwalker, like a lot of people just are finishing or have finished Shadowbringers at this point. A lot of people are that maybe started playing the game this year are coming to the end of Shadowbringers, and they may not. Maybe they love the story, but they have no idea what they're like. What the hell is happening? What is this? Why is the moon? Why is Scytheman? Why did it turn red in the second scene? What is happening? And who's the lady with the mask? What's going on?
I mean, like, why is Scytheman, like, do you want the in-game answer or do you want the out-of-game answer? Because they're really different. And the out-of-game answer is, sides are cool.
All right. What's the in-game answer? Sides are cool stuff.
Some farmers got tired of getting pushed around, so they made a deal with the devil. As one does.
Honestly, I've seen that movie. It's pretty good.
Is that like the actual question? Why is Scytheman?
Yeah. Well,
There's so many ways to
Why? Why is it? Why? Why? No. In all honesty, like, so what is the what did you think of the ending? Like, I feel like we've always had like these pretty solid, iconic like lead-ins, but like our last look. And by the way, spoilers, I mean. But our last look was right at the moon, but then we had a little cutscene with Fandaniel and Xenos both looking at it. And Xenos' moon was a different shade of moon. So
yeah,
atmospheric conditions, man.
It was like it looked like a cosmically fated timed eclipse, like just happened to happen that day.
Yeah.
Like, so you get the blood moon symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't time all of your military actions to line up with celestially significant events?
I mean, not anymore.
It does make the logistics a little difficult.
I've played Terraria enough to know that nothing good happens on the blood moon.
Oh, great game.
So, yeah. So, and at the end, of course, we see the vision of, and I'm probably going to pronounce their name wrong. Vinat, right? Is it?
I go with Vana. I don't know what it really
Vinat?
is.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's definitely not VNAT. So,
probably not.
So,
if none of us are confident, we'll just call her Venonat until the end of the.
Yes. Oh. The resolution is going to be that she evolves into Venomoth.
Yeah. Well, we already had Moon
Venomoth?
Dude. We had Geodude on the moon, so Moon Dude. So makes sense. Final Fantasy XIV, the new Pokemon.
They already had the Final Fantasy that was Pokemon, and it was Final Fantasy XIII too, and it was great.
I'm pretty sure there was.
Well, it was Pokemon and it was Chrono Trigger.
There actually was a Final Fantasy Pokemon, though, wasn't there? Like Final Fantasy Worlds or something like that, where it was like the little chibi.
World of Final Fantasy?
World of Final Fantasy. There it is. Yeah, that was the Pokemon one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that really was the Pokemon one. Plus the leads were brother and sister who had a great comedy routine going.
Yeah.
Such a weird game.
Also the best one-liner from a Tom Berry. So, it's me, Tom Berry. Stab. just the best clip, honestly.
Is it just like is that a mistranslation of doink?
He legitimately stabs somebody when he does it. He says stab and then does it.
Yeah.
No, that feels
The stabbing is a doink noise, but he just says stab as he does
Yeah,
it.
no, like saying stab instead of doink. That feels like when they called the chocobo a horse bird. Like,
Oh,
Stab!
dear.
I love it. It's such a good clip. I need to go find that clip. That is a solid clip.
Anything with ton buddies is great.
Yeah. So, all right. So we do have a lore question. I don't know if my question actually got answered, but we do have a lore question. I want to make sure people's lore questions get answered. As T-Lorn467 says, is Palace of the Dead the Dark Rider associated with one of Eureka weapons?
I can see that eye twitching. Oh, Palace of the Dead is weird.
yeah, like I wish I thought more about Palace of the Dead than I did. Like I had 2 layers of Palace of the Dead, and the first one was like, wow, the mob team really just went crazy, didn't they? They pulled whatever they wanted in here, like any monster for any reason, and I eventually just accepted that it was like a kind of fun time zone where anything goes, and you get to blame the fact that you have this otherworld dude there. But on the other hand, like Eureka has its fingers in like every pie in the game. It wants Odin, it wants Ozma, it wants one of the Asians. Like it plays with all the big toys. So like, sure, why not? Guy from Palace of the Dead's got a Eureka weapon now. I don't care.
Yeah.
You
I
do
mean, like,
that.
In general, actual undead are not really a thing in Eorzea. Like, pretty much any time it's, okay, something, like, some void scent got into the bones of something or another and is making it dance like a puppet. But no, you have, like, apparent shades of the dead. You have a full-on necromancer coming from the Tactics Ogre universe. But it does feel like one of those, okay, you bring in stuff from another universe and they can kind of break the rules. I feel like we've seen that in other content as well. Where if it comes from another universe, they kind of get to bring some of their own rules with them.
Absolutely.
I don't even know like on what level I put the bubble. Like, because when we got, let's say the 13 crossover, like I usually have that in what I call a pseudo canon bubble, which is like a one-way bubble. If it's true in Eorzea, it's true in the bubble. But if it happens in the bubble, it doesn't go back into the game. Like that's how I think about most of that content.
Hildebrand is the same way for you, I think.
I used to call it a Manderville bubble. Yeah. And I never knew whether I put Palace of the Dead in one because there's a lot of good stuff in there. But at the same time, like the entire point of Palace of the Dead seems to be a love letter to Tactics Ogre. So I feel like if I was like, hey, can we explain like where Nybeth really came from? I feel like Oda would just be like, no.
Yeah, it's just like, here's this vague, undefined thing, and we outside know, but it'll just be left as a mystery in world.
So, in the dungeon, the last, not the last dungeon. Is it the last dungeon? It's not the last dungeon. It's the one where right before we fight the Warrior of Light. So that dungeon, I forget the name of it.
Hero's Gauntlet.
Hero's Gauntlet. In Hero's Gauntlet, when they summon the Warriors of Light, one of them that can be summoned is Hildebrand.
Hildebrand,
yeah,
Gentleman of Light.
The Gentleman of Light. So, and then Hildebrand's like, "What am I doing here?" And then runs away. like,
I believe he doesn't even remember who the heck he is again.
Oh yeah, usually. And thanks to Chili, because when he did his interview with Yoshi P, he asked about Hildebrand coming back in the 6X series, and he says, "What are you talking about? Hildebrand was in Shadowbring." And I've done that dungeon a couple times and never seen that happen. It's a rare chance that it happens, and to find out that does happen is great. That they've included Hildebrand, like, and just enough to be like, "What are you talking about? He's in Shadowbring."
I feel like Hildebrand has kind of reached the same point that a lot of the job quests did, where it's like, okay, if you keep wanting to do a full-length story, you keep having to up the ante, and it just becomes an untenable thing to keep together. So this story is effectively finished, but you'll still get reminders that the people exist in the world from time to time.
Pacing is a challenge. Like, I feel like Hildebrand shouldn't be on a schedule. You should do more Hildebrand when it feels right to do more Hildebrand. Like when you're in a setting and a time period and enough has happened where like you can think of without having to force some jokes. Like
after 6.0 wraps up, when we start whatever our new adventure is and exploring other parts of the world, that seems like it might be a reasonable time to bring him back. Maybe then.
That, as I'm about to say, you don't want to do it on the finale of a large, like, the ending of this like massive like 10-year story. For like
comic relief and breaking the tension is important, but not to that degree.
No,
I miss the Hildebrand of 1.0 to a degree, because when he first came out, his function was very different. It wasn't just comedy. The role Hildebrand played in the end of 1.0 was he asked all of the same questions that the players did and then answered them all wrong. So like that would have been amazing in 5.5, but we'll have to wait a bit.
Yeah, for sure. And it would be nice to see him in new areas that we're exploring and like just be like, because then it's the sense of adventure with the gentleman of light out there, and that's what we really need is so speaking of like we don't know where the story's headed. We all have our hopes and dreams. Where do you think we're going past with like 6X, like 6.1? Where do you think we're going? I have some theories. I think like Blue Mage storyline kind of drops some hints of going to the west, and Blue Cerulean being a thing, and
we've also had mentions like the books in Great Google Library that talk about Merylweb's trip to the New World. Mm-hmm. So we've had more than a couple seeds planted for that.
Yeah. Definitely Yoshi P has dropped hints about time travel because of the Crystal Tower, and especially the 20.
There's always a time travel expansion.
Always, yeah. I mean, and do you think they'll even do an overarching 10-year? Do you think they'll do more like we'll wrap up stories in like a 2-year expansion? Like maybe
I don't think they'll ever do a story this long again.
Yeah, all right, fair. That's all right.
Like 2 expansion max.
So much.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I think 2 expansions in an area and then move on to a new area to do something new.
The amount of retcons it took, even like, again, skillfully placed, internal, additive, good writing retcons, but still the number of retcons that it took to bring this story to a close after it had been going on from where it started for that long. I mean, it's just extraordinary, and I don't think they want to risk that again.
And also, just again, on if you're doing the whole, okay, it's going to be an even bigger, grander thing, we need to, again, keep upping the ante,
Please
making it a, So that's so much.
Yeah.
And at
I don't
a
want to be
certain
God.
point, it starts becoming, like, less impactful. I remember a friend of mine talking about, I think he was talking about Doctor Who, where it's like, okay, like, First up, okay, the Earth is in danger. And then, oh, now the Earth's whole history is in danger. Now it's a galaxy. Now it's a universe. Now it's a whole bunch of universes. And at a certain point, that got to be a bit much. But then interspersed, you would have the things where, if this thing isn't stopped, the world will keep turning and stuff will go on as normal. But one person will be dead, and some other people will be very, very sad. And those could still be some of the more emotionally impactful ones.
Yep. I think that's why the angels from Tennant's that story, that compartmentalized story, is so impactful for a lot of Doctor Who fans, because it's like didn't involve a lot. Like Tennant was still there, but he wasn't like the main focus. It was these other two, like these random people. The angels were the focus. He was giving instructions via like VHS tape. Such an interesting episode, so well written. But again, like but if you go ask Whovians, like, what's some of your favorite episodes, that's always usually like top 5, top 10 is that episode. And
I think the use of, to tie it back to FF14, the use of like role-playing segments where we could have, okay, here's what some of the minor characters are doing. Here you can control a bit of them. I'd love to see them expand on that a bit more, not just battle sequences, but maybe like entire exploration sequences with one. I still giggle a little bit at the whole fight with Elita Xenos and the Gauge, Warrior of Light's timely arrival. Every time I giggle at it. It's like, oh my god, we are such a trope, and this is great.
Yeah.
But it's true, though. Like, I don't want to be a god. I don't want to like keep escalating. And when we escalate, we have the problem that we're having now, having to do Pandemonium, because La Habrea has suffered villain decay so badly that he actually needs to be updated. Like I really do hope like this is in terms of the stakes, the most we ever have to deal with, like the whole world being on the line, 12,000 years of history, the legacy of the ancients, the mother and father crystal, like that's a lot. And one day I'm hoping the warrior just able to, retire and go fishing. And
Island sanctuary, bitches. Island sanctuary.
retired to my island sanctuary. And like you said, you can
I
tell
spent, like, a
very
year of-
impactful stories.
Yeah. I was gonna say I spent like a year of FF11 mostly just tending my mog garden.
That that maybe a lot of people come 6.1, honestly.
Dude, I'm a millennial. I'm never gonna be able to afford a home. Let me have my little virtual island.
All I've ever wanted out of this game is cottagecore, and finally we're getting it. And they already put the Birkenstocks in the game. I just got to go out there and farm my cabbage like every good person out there.
My cabbages. Not gonna lie, when you said Secret Project, it was very hard to not start singing that to Secret Tunnel.
Secret projects, secret projects.
Like, I feel like the verses write themselves.
I'm not under NDA. Secret projects.
The meter's a little off, but we'll workshop it.
Yeah, well, fine. It will work the meme. We'll work the song. It'll be great. Chili asked, "Does anyone think that Xenos' mom will be Anima?"
I don't know about mom.
I don't know.
Like, it would be funny, like, just because it's so like it would be. I mean, the first thing that came to mind. And like, there are never any moms in this game. They're all off stage somewhere. Like, this game has a really horrible, like, every mom died of wasting wife syndrome in this game. So it's
except for Alpha Noah and Alice's mom. She still exists for now. If
we're sitting around just like, oh yeah, Anima was Seymour's mom, so that's gotta be, Xenos' mom. And then it was, like, I think that's really funny, but I think it'd be ironic if we got.
I want to throw something in there because we know that they often take like the base thing and then they'll put little twists on it. Mm-hmm. Xenos' dad.
I was thinking it was going to be his like granddad, and it was just like all the you remember the inside of the towers, how you had like all the beastmen shoved into the wall. Right. Like, we get to Garlemald and the whole wall is just soulless clones, just like.
I have wondered what the hell it is they're going to do with those.
Oh, that's why they did that.
They made such a big point of mentioning it, and then like to happen.
We had this whole big cutscene about the soulless clones, and then Gaius was just like, "Oh yeah, I burned those. It's fine." Yeah. So it's like, it would be funny to me to use them again, and for this to be how it. Like, all of my Endwalker predictions are just, what if it was this easy? And I have more serious ones that like go into more detailed stuff, but like part of me is just like, what if it's that easy?
It could be.
There's part of me that likes the idea of having Anima be connected to Varys in some way, and because like it was a whole thing where he did all this stuff and then he goes and gets himself killed, and part of me kind of likes the whole. Oh no, like he remains the unfought. We get the Mizora Memoria version, but otherwise he's this thing that just, he never got to realize any of his visions on this. And so I'm torn between let it stay that way because that is such a subversion of the usual thing, or have him because then you've got kind of like the villain's parent in this thing, but again with an interesting twist or subversion. I don't know which I like better.
Keep forgetting Varys even like really exists just because I wrote him off in his first cutscene. Like, I saw him in his first cutscene. I was like, wow, this guy's dead. This guy is just deader than dead. And it took a few years, but like,
plus a racist rant.
His entire introduction to the game was him just walking out and going, genocide, meh. If you excuse me, I've got Allegon mistakes to repeat. Like, how is that not just dead? Like, he has no future in this game.
I also like the concept that you gave Xenos the ability to be Ray from Ghostbusters. Like, everybody clear your mind. Don't think of anything. And then it's like, Xenos, what did you do? Xenos, what did you do? I just thought of the purest thing. Just the most innocent thing ever, my mom. And then Anima's just crushing, downtown New York.
Of all the theories that I've seen go by, like, the soulless clone one just keeps popping back into my head because Twitter keeps posting pictures of like Anima's hands and Hades' claws. Like,
the hell?
They're totally the same, apparently. You squint.
That feels
they
like
do
routine.
They actually do have a lot in common. They do look similar assets. But I mean, like, is it a hint similar assets, or is it like the time they made Solus, like Santa Solus, by stuffing Ramu's beard into Varys and calling it a day? Like,
Making models isn't easy.
It's not. It takes like 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer chat. No, I did not see that yet. That's my weekend project.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that.
Most of the coverage I've been reading was, I mentioned in the chat, but Gamerscape did some stuff on the job actions where it was in text form. So I didn't have to sit through 15 minutes of video to find out the bit I cared about or rewatch a thing to be like, okay, what's that action? I could just read it. Reading is good.
I will shout out Larry Zor and Mr. Happy. Their class videos are super tight and short. They're like, this is what you need to know. We're over. Good. Done. You're done. That's all you need to know.
I'm probably binging Larry's stuff after this. Like, I love his stuff. Mr. Happy's fine, but something about him just personally rubs me the wrong way. I'm not going to yuck anyone else's yum, but he's just not my thing.
I get it. His is very straightforward.
Don't at me.
Larry's
you know,
very
whatever.
like lighthearted in his writing.
Larry's
so with Vina and the ending of the story coming, do you believe that do you believe that the twins are at any stake? I mean, I know 4's a big hint at the twins, but do you think that's always been the long con this whole time? Like we'll put the twins in there, but wait till we get to the end. 4's happening.
It was. I don't know if it was planned. Do you remember when they did the I think it was FanFest, they were talking about like how they design characters and what things were intended for, and they were like, oh yeah, Alize is supposed to like take over for Minfilia, and it's just like, can you that's the face. Yeah. That face. The face you just made, like that shows kind of in advance how much planning has gone according to plan. Like I feel like this is not according to Keikaku at all right now. So like
any good storyteller, you pay attention to what your audience is reacting to.
Yeah. They could kill one of the twins, but I feel like, I mean, everybody, like, there's a red Oni, blue Oni war between these two characters. Like, someone loves one and hates the other one, and Yoshida's on Team Alphino, apparently. So, I don't know if he's willing to kill Alphino or risk the retribution that will come upon him if he kills Alize.
I mean,
I don't know if either of them are in danger, really.
You kill both of them by having themselves turn themselves to stone.
Well,
if you're going to go for the FF4 reference, you go for the FF4 reference.
I was going to say, yeah, you go for it. But then Daddy has to sacrifice himself for,
I think it's more fun if he becomes a broken wreck sobbing at what his truculence did to his kids. I just don't like the man, okay?
Poor dude's on the moon just crying for the rest of his life, just up there.
I don't want them to go killing scions as a way to be like, okay, this... I kind of like the idea of, after this is like, the scions aren't a thing in that, okay, the entire reason for their existence is kind of taken care of. Okay, now what? Like, the idea of them, like, splitting off and going to their own adventures, and maybe we'd, like, occasionally, like, see one of them or work with them on some type of content thing where they're, like, a minor recurring character. But just killing them for the drama of it, ugh. That's another one of the... Huh?
I want both.
That's just one of another M. Night Shyamalan things.
I think other scions would sooner bite the dust than those two. I think that there's too many people that have a soft spot for... I think even on the dev team probably have a soft spot for both of them. So
yeah, and
they probably will look at them at like bringing them back for future endeavors.
If I was going to pick one, if I was going to pick one scion to die, would probably guess Thancred.
I would be salty. I would be salty if they killed Thancred now after he had a perfect death in Shadowbringers, and then just walked in on the next scene like, "Hey guys, like, what's going on?
Everything okay? I just had a good cry. I'm good. Let's go." Strong cry. I mean,
Chad is having a lot of fun reactions to who might die.
Yeah, my thing when it comes to character deaths is, first, I want some because I keep getting told like we're putting so much on the line and sacrificing so much, and they keep talking about our losses and how much we've given, and it's just like, we killed 2 Ascian originals. We took out the entire plan for barely any narrative cost. We got off pretty light in Shadowbringers. So if you're going to keep telling me how much I'm sacrificing, make me lose something. But on the other hand, I really would like to see the Scions like retire. Like I'd love to see the group that we've been going with, again, like you said, go off and do their own thing. And then whatever we become after that, pull Hori Boulder and Riol and all of them into it. Let me hang out with the B
Can
Squad.
we just get them to bang already?
How do we know they're not off screen?
I mean, like, it's been how many expansions where who's the one who's always trying to pursue both of the brothers?
Oh, the
Kanor? Like, isn't that why they named her Cockburn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Cockburn.
But it's like, oh man. Clearly they just need more like little mini dating sim content things. Weird Cat Dad dating sim was the pinnacle of Shadowbringers. Or Weird Cat Dad Solid, the sneaking game.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who I want to die, but like I want to lose something just to feel justified in being told I've lost so much.
Yeah,
I have a feeling it might be Y'shtola. They've taken away her death so many times that at this point, like I think people, if she did die, I don't know. Well, so I feel like if she actually did die this time, people might not believe it. It's like they cried wolf so many times at this point.
I was about to say you could do the thing where instead of dying, she gets like permanently crippled or disfigured or scarred somehow. For instance, maybe she could go blind. Oh wait.
Wait, what? Doesn't count.
And I mean, then it became but she's using Ether Sight, which is somehow draining her life in some as yet undefined way, and in the interim, she gets to be more awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was about to bring up. Is like they had that scene where Matoya was trying to say something along the lines of like, you realize that like using your spiritual energy to see drains that way faster than usual, and that might be like a burden in the wrong moment someday, and you're just walking around acting like everything's the same. You've got like a 50-pound backpack on your back, and you're just running around like nothing's changed. And then like half the fan base took that as she's like losing 2 minutes of her life every time she looks at something, and now like we never got any closure on that. Like,
yeah,
which interpretation's right?
Yeah,
they never even touch back to it.
The bit in FF15 where Ignis has gone blind, and until he's used to it, you have him like actively stumbling around the battlefield, swinging at things. Like, it's so sad and painful, and it really upped the emotional impact of that. And it's like something for that with Y'shtola, where it's like, okay, actually upping this thing, seeing this our compatriot in this difficult, painful, horrible situation. But I mean, like, I don't like pull that trigger.
So
if you're gonna
really
make us suffer emotionally.
You don't really want to see anybody die for the sake of dying. You just want to see them miserable and suffering for your amusement.
Exactly. They're not allowed to die until I've had a catharsis. That's how this works.
Oh boy. Well, let me tell you, as a World of Warcraft player, you think you want that, but you know what? You don't.
Ugh. Look, is this going to be a thing about Hell Scream? Because the nice thing about time travel scratches is that you can kill him over and over and over again. Goddamn Hell Scream.
That wasn't time travel. That was legitimately, they even said that is an alternate timeline. That is a separate...
Okay, but it was still time travel with weird hand-waving.
Wibbly wobbly.
It was effectively time travel, and no weird hand-waving is going to change that.
So, Susan asks, what are our guest thoughts about shipping Fordell and Ardenwald, and can we have some romance in this game already?
You going first or second on this one, Seyrr?
I mean, if I go first, I am going to rant, which possibly means that I should go first. You go ahead and go first, and I think I'll add to that.
Shipping specifically those two, I don't know, I'm for it. Like I feel like we have this unresolved coming together in All Amigo. And I don't really know the right way to articulate it except to use kind of a familiar example to me, which is when we were first introduced to Stormblood, we were given this idea of the reason we're at war is because there's the people who think the old way, that, you know, it's a free Eorzean city-state and it should be again. And then there's the new way, and then there's people who've been born, raised, and fight for Garly and Alamigo. And that there are people who are happy about it, and there are people who are oppressed by it. And all of this is going to come to a head, and we're going to have to choose sides. Whereas the ending of that is meant to be the forging of an Alamigo where every Alamigan has a home. That no matter who you fought for or what you chose, you can come home to Alamigo. You're an Alamigan. And I thought the way they were going to show that was by having Lys and Fordola like visibly fighting together for the same thing at some point, and it just didn't happen yet. I'm hoping for it in Endwalker, but it didn't happen yet. So the idea of Arenvald and Fordola being a couple, like you get that same vibe. Like he left Alamigo for a reason, and especially given his history, to see him come home and actually like marry a Alamigan who joined Garlemald, like that would symbolize to me that coming together and building of an Alamigo where every Alamigan has a home. So I'm for it. That was a rant too, but I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, like, I do like that. A lot of mine comes from the, oh my god, everything has a romantic subplot attached. Is it not possible to have a story that doesn't have some kind of romance on it? And seeing like, okay, they're developing this relationship, and having them be like close and connected in some way I'm okay with, but does it need to be a romantic one? At this point, Fordola and Yotsuyu are the true stars of Stormblood. Change my mind. No, don't. I will die on this hill. I will die on this goddamn hill. But I really like Fordola as a character. I love stuff where we get to explore more of what's going on with her. She's got a lot of this really complex stuff going on. The position she's trying to occupy in this new world that Moose is being described, because it is a thing where all these people can be, but it's still a bit of a weird, awkward space for her given her past. What was the other thing? Damn it, I had another thought that just slipped away. I've lost it. I'll let you know if it comes back. But no, like, I like the characters. I like exploring all this. I just get a little tetchy at the, okay, and everything needs to have a romance and end with a wedding. Like, it is possible to do perfectly good stories. And that's just like a frustration with broader things of storytelling and culture as a whole, where like every movie seems to need some type of romantic subplot or something like that. But Fordola is pretty awesome, and I want to see more of her.
Susan says it'd be nice if there was some romance in Final Fantasy XIV.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. You have to leave everyone open for the Warrior of Light's harem. Not even joking here.
There is in some, and not necessarily the main plot, but at least in some of the, honestly, in some of the crafting storyline, there's some strong romance. A lot of like especially around Stormblood, there was a lot of the folks from Kugane coming over, and then the folks from our lands, just and then be like, and then falling in love, and then like somebody like being like no.
Yeah.
Usually the father's so disapproving somewhere. Don't
forget the Lalafell at Camp Drybone who wants to be Rauban's Sultana.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah. Can't forget.
Oh.
So Chili says, I like to call it Warrior of Light sexual, in which they want you to just be because you're the Warrior of Light.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's always left ambiguous, where you could say like, oh yeah, the Grahatia wants to bone us, and Alice just really admires our strength and uses us as a role model. Or, oh no, Grahatia is just in awe of this figure from all these things and wants to be our adventuring buddy, but Alice has the hots for us. Or, they both want us. Or, nope, I'm an asexual wall. Like, they always leave it ambiguous enough that you can substitute your own structure and your own fantasy into there.
Meanwhile, I'm completely alienated by being the only person in the world who doesn't have a waifu in this game.
I mean, someone will marry you.
What? Look, Horsefall was even willing to go to pony play when we didn't even ask. Oh, classic.
Susan says those young girls hired by dudes in Kugane. No, the culinary quest line where the chef was trying to impress his lover's dad via cooking, and he kept denying him because he said that he didn't have the right soul in his food, and then he cooked an Alamigan dish, which came from which was born in Alamigo and then went to the east. It was the IRL version of Army Stew. I was gonna say Army Stew, right? Like, 'cause that's essentially what it's supposed to be, right?
The original one was of course, I've memorized all the culinary quests. It was a thing called buckler stew, because the buckler was used as a cook pot, or as a, I guess more of a wok in that case. Yeah. It was used as a cooking pan, and so a thing from that migrated to all sorts of places, and Kugane reached there and became like some kind of equivalent of the dish sukiyaki.
Mm-hmm. And then
the dad was very much, culinary, like, Kugane culinary things are like the finest tradition and everything else is trash, and showing that no, this one also had owed its origins, that all cooking comes from.
Yeah.
That's a theme they revisit a bit. I always like the Heavensward quest, seeds know no borders. Like, that specific phrase I really liked.
And then the blacksmith quest line where the young lady who you were like battling against, like with swords and stuff, not physical swords, but like blacksmithing weapons and stuff against, she had a crush on the blacksmith guy from Limsa Lominsa. So and her dad did not like that either. So he had warrior red eyes at one point. And so.
Yeah, where are the moms for all this? Or what? God, yeah, just like we're in love, but my dad disapproves. Like, I get that it's like the bones of a classic story structure, and it's easy to slot that in, but it's just been done so many times.
Sarah, it's like a Hallmark movie. All the mothers have passed away, and the fathers are too much caring to let their daughters find love, because it'll hurt them and hurt their little girl and their mother.
But it's okay. It's okay, because their sassy friend, will help them out, and then at the end, they will share one dry kiss in a gazebo.
Yeah, and Dad will approve. Well, we just turned Final Fantasy XIV into a Hallmark movie, so...
It was going to happen eventually.
And Hildebrand already bought the gazebo, so technically we're fine. He's the...
Yeah. Well, they'll switch in Hildebrand's gazebo.
Yep. One dry kiss. Actually, can we get a dry kiss emote? How do we get that? $3. The Mock Station. Dry kiss.
Oh, I am not responsible for this. I am totally responsible for this.
So, going again, going again to 6X. We talked about a little bit, like, hey, we think that the story's gonna be compartmentalized, like at least 1 to 2 expansions long, and then they'll move on to something else, and then keep going that sort of route. Where do you want to go first? Like, do you want to go the New World first? Do you? I mean, we've kind of figured that they're dropping seeds for that, but they don't necessarily have to do that first. They can still build up.
And it wouldn't be the first time that we split ourselves halfway across the world in one expansion.
Absolutely right.
Hey, let's go to the Far East again.
Yeah.
The even if it weren't for the hints of the New World, I would be voting for the New World, because I know that the dev team has some anxiety, Yoshida-san especially, about the idea that, like, once Heidelin and Zodiark are done, there are going to be people who think, well, the main story's over. The rest of this is just side stuff. Like, Final Fantasy XIV is, like, really over. And I know they don't want that to be the case. And I think there's no better way to communicate that there's so much more than Heidelin and Zodiark out there than to lean into that and just, like, literally have there's a whole new world expansion and go to a whole new continent and do everything from scratch.
I was going to say Mericidia, but I feel like that might still have some attachment to the Heidelin Zodiark thing, given, like, that they are still, thousands of years later, apparently traumatized by what Allag did to them.
And we've been told that the place is, like, mostly wasteland, and I wonder how much of that they've fleshed out since then. Because the last time we were told something was mostly wasteland, it ended up a damn dungeon. So there could be a Mericidia the dungeon if we're not careful.
There's, like, multiple civilizations existed there. I think it was like Mare City was supposed to be like effectively Australia-ish.
Yeah, I call it Fantasy Australia.
Yeah.
That's my favorite new band.
Yeah. And Darth in the chat is talking about Eastern Ilsabard. And yeah, we talked about a little bit earlier about our disappointment with the thing where we go to Garlemald being just penetrating to the capital city. So exploring some of those, if it is okay, this is all over, Garlemald has fine, so now we could start having stories as these things are emerging from Garlean rule. That could also be something.
True. And I don't want to say that. I know they can easily say the rest of the 6X series is building up to the next expansion. They don't necessarily need to jump into a brand new story.
Yeah.
They could easily say, hey, everything after this is postscript, like here's everything that we're tying up all the loose knots in this little post section in 6.1
like
forward.
Well, they said 6.1 would start the new thing, but it's like, okay, maybe we have some new adventure that starts there but is planting the seeds for, especially if we are going with New World, having something involving Merylwyb's adventures there and stuff coming back from that. Plus it means we get more Merylwyb, and I'm always down for that.
I agree.
I say this literally every time this comes up, so like some of you have probably heard this 20 times by now, but I don't care. I'm going to keep saying it over and over until I bring it into being. Like, if we go to the New World, I need Pirates of the Caribbean. I need, like, Merylwyb to bring all of the, like, downtrodden pirates who've lost their place over to the Caribbean to restore, like, peace in a way. But yeah, I want Roswin to live. I want Roswin to thrive again is really what I want.
Also, content involving boats. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I have one last thing before we get out of here, and it's the thing that I've been holding on to. So I was running Void Arc for easy gets crystals for my weapon for Bosja, and I started noticing that around the Void Arc, or the coffins, which essentially are void batteries. If I'm good to guess on that, I'm pretty sure
more or less.
Yeah. And then when I looked at the towers, I was like, oh, these are oddly same architecture, like fleshy and strange. And I started noticing like they're also powered by, via like little, Amajal, pods and stuff like that. Like
it feels like the underlying principle is the same. Take something living, slap it in a thing that draws out its energy, use it to run your blender. And you start doing it with Void Set, because those aren't really people, so it's fine. And then you're like, they're going to go ahead and repopulate the 13th. We're not going to have any more Void Set. We need to do some atrocities on some new things. How about some Beastmen? They're not really people. You just keep drawing the line on what you call people until you can go ahead and run your entire entertainment center.
Do you think... I was gonna say, do you think Fandaniel is somehow pulling from the design of the Maki, like looking at that and say that's a good idea, or were these towers there? So
I'm 50-50 split. 50-50 split. I've got like part of me is thinking like just like when they made not Amdapor, no, it was Amdapor. The like holy horrors of light kind of for there, and they were like, yeah, we'll just like make these weird guardians of heaven from like Mesopotamian culture, and then that was cool for that dungeon. And then they came to Shadowbringers and they were like, yeah, let's have like holy horror. Like just bring over some of those Amdapori and we won't talk about it. We won't bring it up. Like, so now we've got this, like similar, because why not recycle the mobs? They were great designs. So part of me is just like, they're going into Endwalker and they're thinking like, hey, we should use some HR Geekers to, wait, damn. Now do it anyway. Like biomechanical horror. Like, so like part of me is like, it's a coincidence and they're not going to bring it up again because they didn't last time. But part of me thinks it would make sense for there to be some dissension from the Mahashi, especially if Emmett Selk founded a nation.
I mean,
Garlemald would have some...
I mean, we already had the, Allag was an Ascian plot. Why not have that apply to most of the nations?
Architect behind myriad imperial nations, and that's exactly what Mahak was, so...
Why not?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it a lot this week because we accidentally, like when we were chatting, we accidentally came up with the idea of like, what if our time travel expansion is the War of the Magi, and that's how they get Emmett Selk back into the game? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate this. He founded Mahach, and now we got to go back in time, and he's just there again. And then one of the people is just like, well, what if in that era he was like a hot goth girl on the Coven? And I was like,
not wrong. Yeah,
maybe
honestly sold.
I'm so longer not against it. What do you know?
I mean, like, the ruling body is called the Coven. You know that there were hot goth girls. They might have been like secretly 800 years old and stopping their aging with dark magics, but
if I finally get a waifu, fine, I'm for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's how I like my goth girls. 800 years old, but really stopping the age. So. Well, I want to thank you both for joining me, and I'm so sorry Quinton wasn't here. He would have loved being here for this conversation of lore and tangents and shit talk. So thank you both. Moose, where can people find you and all the things you do?
I don't know anymore. At AnonyMoose XIV on Twitter. I still hang around the lore forums a lot. Gamer Escapes Discord, Ethos' Discord, a couple of my Discords. I don't even know.
Oh, Susan posted the links in the chat. Thank you, Susan.
She did.
Oh, I do have links.
Yeah, she even posted to forum links. You can find them to go right there.
And then you can read and reply to and counter argue against every post he's made ever.
The next time I'm on here, just like put the link to like the Tasty Japan Twitter. Like just to have that in there for no reason.
Like it's like if you like someone's Instagram post from 5 years ago, it shows how stable you are.
Yeah. Actually, my thumb just touched it on accident, but you know what? I'll leave it there. It's fine. Seyrr, where can people find you? Besides Instagram 5 years ago.
I don't know what you're talking about. The song Research Me Obsessively is definitely not my leitmotif. So you can find me on Twitter at FF14Seyrr. That's SEYRR. Susan's posted those links. I also, as you mentioned at the top of the show, I am the Lorebrarian, which I still love that title and need to figure out how to get it onto my business cards. The Lorebrarian for Phoenix Down Radio, which you can find at phoenixdownradio.com. Also, probably on a bunch of the podcast locatey thingy-mabobbers. Klaus always does this bit. I've usually zoned out when he's saying it.
And of course, I was gonna say we'll have all the links in our show description, so you can go find both of them.
Yep. I believe I am on Maelstrom Radio's Discord. I'm on a bunch of Discords. I like talking. I will 99% chance at some point steer the topic to cooking and food science, or libraries and why they're great, or both.
Yep. You can find Seyrr in our Maelstrom Radio channel. Moose is there too, but you can't always count that Moose is going to show up. He might show up for like a one hit, and then he'll disappear back into the darkness.
Just like you got to strategically ping me. Like I'm in too many of these things.
No, I get
utilize your pings. Don't even worry about like bothering me. Like you need to ping me for me to notice.
Yeah, I usually just ping him with like random questions, and he gives me answers, and then
it's encouraged.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were talking about deep fried beer in the Maelstrom Radio chat the other day. It's a thing. It's not the same as like deep fried Coke or deep fried Dr. Pepper. You make like ravioli pockets and you fill them with beer.
I'm for it. I'm for it. Let me go and get through our stuff real quick. Monday, October 18th is our Final Fantasy XIV stream. We will hopefully be finishing up Zadnor at that point, and hopefully run the Dalriada and finish up the storyline for Save the Queen. Thursday, October 21st, Spooktober game. Quinton is back. We will jump back into Little Nightmares and find out why we're a tiny person wearing a wearing coat on a creepy, dilapidated boat. Episode next Friday. Episode 170, special guest admin of the Final Fantasy XIV Girls Only Discord, Kaylala, will be here. Tell us about all things Final Fantasy XIV Girls Only Discord. You can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Maelstrom Radio. Thank you for the 100 subscribers over there. And we finally made it. And thank you. Follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Maelstrom Radio. If we get to 777 followers, I will wear a Kigurumi on the stream. So there we go. With that, I would like to thank Moose, Seyrr, all our wonderful listeners here live and viewers, and thank you all, and to Quinton, wherever you're at, till see as well as all, keep listening.
Maelstrom Radio is brought to you by maelstromradio.com and Blackfire Media. Produced by Flatus, Shintier, and Susan Sprinkle. Join us live Fridays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/maelstromradio. Send email to show@maelstromradio.com, tweet us at maelstrom_radio, or join our Discord at maelstromradio.com/discord. Views and opinions expressed by our hosts and guests do not reflect the views and opinions of any companies discussed on today's show.